welcome back to my channel. My name is Marian and today we are doing a TBR jar chooses my TBR. So I have some prompts in this little pouch and we're going to choose our winter TBR today. Let's pick our first prompt. We have a booktuber bookstagramer recommendation. Okay, let me grab my phone. I don't know where my phone went. Okay, so I got my phone. We're gonna go on TikTok and we're gonna look for some book recommendations. Okay, so we have the first one, 6-star reads of 2024. So let's see what the first book that she has on there is. Okay, the first one she has is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I've already read this one. Well, I've actually DNF'd it, so we're gonna move on. I don't think I want to read any of that. Ooh, okay. The second one is One Dark Window. So I have that one, and I guess that's our first book, One Dark Window. Okay, I like this. One Dark Window. Okay. Next, second prompt for our second book for our Yule TBR, Winter TBR. What does that say? A book that explores a social or political issue. I'm probably going to go for one of my poetry books on this one because a lot of my poetry books explore social and political issues. So let me check. Okay, so books that explore political or social issues, I've got 3 here. I've got 2 poetry and then I have All About Love by Bell Hooks. I have An American and The Second Stop to Jupiter. I think I want a poetry book, so I think we're gonna reserve this one for another time. Maybe another prompt, we'll see. This one looks really interesting. An American by Hafiza Getter. The Nigerian-born daughter of a Nigerian Muslim woman and a black man born in the Jim Crow South, Getter charts the history of a black family of mixed citizenships through poems complicated by migration, language, racism, queerness, loss. I really like this one. Okay, we're gonna choose this one for this prompt. So we have An American. Next, in our little jar, we have this one. I'm not really sure what it says. What does it say? A book written by an author of a different gender than you. That's pretty easy. A book written by a man. I feel like I have plenty of those. We are gonna go for one of my books that is on the list of my 10 before the end because I'm probably not going to be able to finish them, so let's go look at those. Okay, so for this prompt, I decided that I needed to finish a book that I'm 50% through, and it is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. I know that this one, if I don't finish it this year, I'm never gonna finish it, so I need to continue through the series. I'm loving it so far, but I'm just in a reading slump, so hopefully the poetry books and One Dark Window is gonna help me go through that reading slump. Okay, we have 3 prompts so far. Next, a book with a protagonist who has a different cultural background than your own. So I'm actually gonna go for this poetry collection, the second Stop to Jupiter, because this is an Afrofuturistic poetry collection that redefined what it means to explore the Black experience. So it clearly is a different cultural background than me, and I think it would be really interesting to read. So another poetry collection. I feel like short poetry collections like this help me get out of my reading slump. So since I'm really in a really bad slump, I'm hoping that getting more poetry on my TBR is what's going to help me. We have a nonfiction book. Okay, then for a nonfiction book, I am going to take All About Love by Bell Hooks. I've been wanting to read this for so long and I never got around to it, so I think it's time. I'm past the bandwagon of everybody reading it and everybody loving it, so I really think I need to get onto that. So yeah, we got Bell Hooks. Next, so we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 6th. Here is the 6th. A book published this year. Ooh, I don't really have a lot of 2024 book published. So let's go on to our own Goodreads. So the books published in 2024. So the first one, we have Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm not really a big fan of Emily Henry's work, so I think I'm gonna pass on that. The Women by Kristen Hanna, I don't have that. Just for the Summer, I've already read this. First Lives Wins, I don't have that. The Teacher, I don't have it. Ooh, House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I haven't read this series, but I do have the first book in the series, so I think we're gonna go with that. So technically, well, no, technically the first book wasn't published in 2024, so what I do have though is Bride on my Kindle, so I think we're gonna go with that one instead. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we have Bride. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 2 more. A book at the bottom of your to-read list. Oh, a book at the bottom of that list. Okay. Let me look at my shelves and see what I have. Okay, so the book that is at the bottom of my TBR is The Wolf of Oren Yarrow. I have no idea what this book is about. I literally do not know anything about it. I just picked it up because it's by Orbit and because somebody that I follow on YouTube probably recommended it and said that it was really, really good. It's a fantasy story, fantasy book. Not romance, I think. I don't think there's any romance in this. I think it's pure fantasy. But I'm really interested. I feel like it's not something that was on my to-read list, but yeah, now it's on my TBR, so let's try it. Alright, one last prompt, and then we're done for our for winter TBR, for Yule TBR. A book with a magical or fantastical element. That's pretty easy. That's basically my whole TBR. Let's see. I feel like I want a short book-ish because I already have some pretty big books. So let me try to see. Okay, so for this one, a book with a magical, fantastical element, I'm gonna go with Before the Coffee Gets Cold, because I still haven't read this, and this has been on my TBR for a little bit now, and it has, basically it's a coffee in Tokyo, if I remember correctly, a coffee shop in Tokyo where there's one table that people sit at, and they go back in time. So yeah, that sounds really intriguing and very interesting. I'm not really one for magical realism. I'm more into like fantasy, but I want to step out of my comfort zone these days. So let's try this one and see how it goes. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog on it. So for all the books chosen, we have the first one that we chose was recommended by a book talker, is One Dark Window. Then we have An American. We have Words of Radiance. The Second Stop to Jupiter. All About Love. The Wolf of Oren Yarrow. And Before the Coffee Gets Cold. And Bride by Hazelwood. So yeah, that was my winter TBR, my Yule TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye!